On paper, Newcastle United are now the richest club in the Premier League. So as you can imagine, they're pretty fun to manage in Football Manager 2022. With a starting budget of £200 million, the possibilities are endless. Spending the money is pretty easy, but spending it wisely is the difficult part. On today's video, we're going to take a look at two different avenues you could explore. Signing a high-profile players linked with every club in the world, or taking a more sensible approach. So the first 5 players that we're going to be looking at have been tracked by some of the biggest clubs in world football. So why don't we see how they get on at Newcastle United? The first one being Dusan Vlahovic, and he's the second most in-demand forward in world football behind Erling Haaland in 2021. He's become only the second player since 1960 to score more than 33 goals in a Serie A calendar year after Cristiano Ronaldo managed it in 2020. At just 21 years old, it's no surprise to see the likes of Manchester City linked with Vlahovic. Up next is Aurélien Tchouameni. And Monaco sporting director Paul Mitchell has recently compared him to a young Steven Gerrard, describing him as a complete midfielder. And in this calendar year, Tchouameni has made more tackles than any other player in Europe's top 5 divisions. He'll be expensive, but worth every penny. Now, no transfer spending spree is complete without shopping at RB Salzburg. So rather than allowing Barcelona or Borussia Dortmund to have him, we transferred Karim Adeyemi to Newcastle United. The young German winger won 4 penalties in the 21-22 Champions League group stage, which is the joint most ever recorded in a single campaign alongside Arjen Robben in 2012-2013. Now, Arjen Robben won a Premier League title in his first season with Chelsea. Can Adeyemi repeat that feat? Now, there's a reason that the Premier League elite want to add Declan Rice into their midfield. He's the only player in the division to rack up 40 plus in each of the following metrics in 2021. Tackles, interceptions, take-ons completed, aerial duels won, touches in the opposition box, and clearances made. That man can do everything, and we're hoping that he can do everything for Newcastle United in today's video. And our final Galactic is the only defender to ever be named as the European Golden Boy, Matthijs de Ligt. His agent, who is the infamous Mino Raiola, has recently stated that the former Ajax captain is ready for a new challenge. So could we swap the black and white stripes of Juventus for those of the Magpies? Hey, it's exactly what he was asking for. Now we're going to be moving on to the realistic targets, and among goalkeepers to make 20 plus appearances in the Premier League since the 1920 season, Dean Henderson has the highest save percentage, outranking the likes of Ederson, Alisson and Edouard Mendy. Now number 2 at David De Gea at Manchester United, he could be the perfect buy in real life as well as your Football Manager save. Frozen out by former Newcastle United boss Rafael Benitez, Lucas Digne is absolutely worth shelling out for. Only 5 players have created more chances in the Premier League since he made the switch to Goodison Park. When compared to defenders, only Trent Alexander-Arnold can beat him. Dele Alli was once so good that Sir Alex Ferguson told Jose Mourinho to sign him at Manchester United. Now looking to rebuild his career, he could be another player that is tempted to move when the January transfer window opens. Dele was directly involved in 63 goals in his first 3 Premier League seasons. The talent is definitely there. Now, Jesse Lingard was a revelation at West Ham on loan last season. In 2021, Lingard has been directly involved in a Premier League goal once every 100.8 minutes on average. Only 5 players with 500 plus minutes played can beat that. The best of them all, Gareth Bale. He scored or assisted every 63.5 minutes on loan to Spurs, so he could be someone you look to sign as well. Now, Lille is becoming the go-to shopping destination for the biggest clubs in Europe. Jonathan David, Renato Sanchez or Jonathan Ikone would all be great pickups. But for this video, we're going to be focusing on the Dutch centre-back Sven Botman. During Lille's title-winning 2020-2021 season, Botman won 67.8% of his duels, the 3rd highest success rate of any player to win at least 100. Not bad for a 21-year-old. So then, with 5 realistic choices and 5 Galactico game changers, we wanted to see how each player got on for Newcastle United. So we've simmed half a decade with every one of those players in the current squad, and also preventing Newcastle United to sign anybody else within the first season. So season 1 is complete for Newcastle United under Eddie Howe, and to be honest, in the league it's a disappointing finish, finishing 10th in the Premier League with 16 wins and 16 defeats, actually with a -2 goal difference. However, in terms of domestic trophies, the FA Cup was won by Eddie Howe. They even got to the final four of the Carabao Cup as well, unfortunately losing out to Liverpool. So despite finishing 10th, this means that Newcastle will have European football next season. Really interestingly, Eddie Howe opted to play Dele Alli as a second striker next to Dusan Vlahovic, and his return was really decent. 13 goals and 3 assists in 35 games in the striker position. And Vlahovic, who I just mentioned, grabbed 10 goals in the Premier League and 6 goals in 5 games in the FA Cup, actually scoring both goals in the 2-1 win over Chelsea in the final. So us pumping all these fantastic players into Newcastle United didn't quite work out as planned in the Premier League, but it's great to see the Magpies get some silverware already. Let's move on to the next 4 seasons, see how much money Newcastle go on to spend and see what players they can bring in to improve their league position. A much better performance in the league in the 22-23 campaign, with Newcastle now up to 6th place in the league, 10 points behind the top 4. The Europa League, unfortunately, they were knocked out in the quarter-final by Lazio and they were unable to retain their FA Cup, finishing in the 3rd round. Also a 4th round exit in the Carabao Cup and finishing runners-up in the Community Shield. So a much better performance in the league, but overall probably not as successful as last season. In terms of transfers though, Newcastle went on to spend £206 million, the key one being Carlos Soler from Valencia. The Spaniard went on to predominantly play as the right midfielder in Eddie Howe's 4-4-2 across this season. Season 3 saw Newcastle United's best finish yet, finishing as runners-up in the Premier League. 25 wins, 6 draws and just 7 defeats. A fantastic season with Dusan Vlahovic smashing in the goals. There's also a semi-final finish in the Europa Conference League, losing out to Real Sociedad, and a 4th round exit in the FA Cup and getting to the final 4 of the Carabao Cup once again. The club spent a further £210 million, and the key signing here being Theo Hernandez from AC Milan. The Frenchman became Newcastle's #1 left back, with Lucas Digne playing there occasionally and even moving up to the left midfield spot as well. So at the end of season 4, Eddie Howe has been sacked as Newcastle finished 5th place in the league. Another Europa League qualification and missing out on the top 4 by 2 points after the media actually predicted them to finish 3rd. It was a quarter-final finish in the Champions League, unfortunately losing out to AC Milan, a 4th round exit in the FA Cup, and once again getting into the final 4 of the Carabao Cup. However, the biggest signing by far, breaking, I'm sure, Newcastle United's record, is the signing of Frank Kessie from AC Milan for £109 million. He certainly does look like a cracking signing, but didn't manage to score a goal in his first season at Newcastle and only picked up 4 assists. And now we move on to the final season, which ended in a little bit of disappointment for Newcastle United, but actually saw them have 2 managers. The first one being Diego Simeone, who was actually sacked after just 4 months in charge at St James's Park, and the new coach being Joachim Löw, the former Germany boss. Unfortunately, they missed out on the top 6 on goal difference with a +13, missing out by 1 goal with 61 points. However, much better in other competitions, actually finished up as a runner-up in the Europa League and runner-up in the FA Cup as well, and once again getting to the last 4 of the Carabao Cup. Another £211 million spent by Newcastle United this season. Their biggest signing was for £75 million, Matteo Pessina from Atalanta. However, a major injury kept the Italian out of the Newcastle team for the majority of the campaign, starting just 14 games in all competitions this season. So there we go, after 5 seasons, we've yet to see Newcastle United win a Premier League title, but we have seen them sign some fantastic players and actually remain pretty competitive in other competitions. They've arguably broken into the top 6 or top 7 teams in the country. Now, across the 5 seasons, even without those players that I've added, the club spent over £814 million in just 5 years on signings. Of course, the club would have been making some money off sales as well, but over £800 million is a huge amount of money to be spending in just 5 years. Now, this is the final best 11 after these 5 seasons. As you can see, Dusan Vlahovic with 133 goals, a fantastic return across the 5 years. But overall, some really solid average ratings for the club. So there we go, guys. Newcastle United in FM22 could be so much fun, especially with all the money that you get to spend. Which sort of players will you look to spend as Newcastle United boss? Let us know in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the Squawker channel, and we'll see you all very, very soon.